Hi everyone, it's Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Today's layout that I am sharing is another layout using the Vicki Boutin Color Study collection. And boy, does this collection have my heart because it's full of bold colors, patterns, it's bright, it's happy, it's fun, I love it so much. So this layout I actually created not at my own desk. This was created at my sister's house, so I did my best for the sake of continuity to make it look like my desk, but if the lighting or anything looks a little bit off, you know the reason why. So this mixed media layout, I decided to use some acrylic paint, and I am also using a Color Blast color paste. I've got Vicky's stencil set there, and I have got my big number 4 wide brush that you can see there. So I'm actually going to use the dry brush method for this background. Excuse me. So I'm just using my number 4 brush. As I said, I'm just picking up the paint with those bristles, and then I'm wiping off as much paint as possible before I drag the bristles across the cardstock. And dry brushing it on like that gives you the ability to see those brush marks on the page, and I just love it. Now, the reason I chose that color paint to use was because I have already chosen that floral paper for my page border, and you can see that it's on a black background. So I wanted to pull some of that darkness into my page, and also the fact that I was scrapping a black and white photo. So I knew I needed to bring some of that black, some of that dark into my page. Now, over the top of my paint, I am actually applying some of the color paste with one of the stencils. Very simple. I just simply used a palette knife and applied it directly through the stencil in a few areas of the page over the top of the paint. I left it to dry for a little bit. Naturally, but it still was a little bit tacky when I started working with it, but anyone that watches my videos regularly will know that I am notoriously impatient, and generally I will keep going even when my medium is still a little bit wet. But I think I did do a good job not smudging this one. Anyway, so I had cut the guts out of that paper there so that I could use it, as I said, as the page border. I then stuck my cardstock down over the top and got to work on the papery layers for this page. Now, I had a couple of papers out already that I had used for the previous layout I did using this collection. And you know me, I'm a great user of scraps, and if I already have something sitting out on my desk, I am more likely to use it. So I went with the papers that I already had sitting there. So one of them did have a tear in it, and I decided to go with that and use it as a feature on the page. I also tore across the top of the paper there as well. I put an extra little rip in it just for a bit of added texture. And then I'm picking up some of the other scraps that I've got here, and I had no plan for this part of my page. I was literally just picking up the scraps going, oh yeah, that could work there. Oh, that could work there. Oh, that could work there. It was very fly by the seat of my pants. No plan at all. So I decided to run the scraps from right up hard against that pattern paper border to leave me that little area of white space down the left-hand side. And you'll see right now, I stick it up hard against the border. Now, generally, I will leave a bit of white space on both sides, but I thought this actually looked better touching the coloured border rather than with white on both sides. I didn't want it to appear too symmetrical or too centered because it was all very random. So over the top of that pink paper, I'm using a piece that was actually showing that spotted print is actually from the reverse. I also used the branding strip from that floral paper as well. And I just trimmed that down just to start adding a bit of sort of horizontal plane to this page. I then decided that I needed more colour in that bottom section. So I just tore off another piece of the pink paper and angled it up so that it would go up sort of towards the other piece there to meet it. Now I'm flicking through some of the other scraps that I had on my desk. I've had the cut apart sheet that had all the tags on it. I looked at that. I quickly discounted that. I didn't really want to put any tags on this page. But I did have the guts from the floral paper there, the center of the floral paper. So I took that away and I fussy cut some of the large, bold flowers from it. So they were pink and purple and blue and yeah, all very beautiful. Now, I still used my signature paper doily for this one. I did have to dig through my doilies to decide which color I was going to use on this. I tried a purple, you can see there. I tried a yellow, I tried a pink, I tried a blue, and I decided to leave this part of the video in so you can see it's not just a case of me just whipping out one doily and sticking it on there. Often I have tried 4 colors that you don't see, and in the end, I settled on green for this because there was that touch of green in the floral paper, and I knew I was going to pull a little bit of green into this page as well. It made a really nice contrast. It works so well with that hot pink, and it makes a really nice contrast to the blue and the purple as well. So I was already starting to build on my color palette here. You can see that, yes, it is starting to get a little bit wild. Initially, I wasn't going to use so many colors on this page, but I just had to follow my instinct, and this is where I wound up. So with that green doily on the page, I knew I had to add those extra little snippets of the green paper to help balance it out. So I've added a little horizontal strip and I'm building on that strip that I have there from the branding strip that I'd already placed down. I've also added a torn little piece at the bottom, and I've tucked in a torn little piece behind where I'm going to place the flowers. I'm creating those clusters. I mean, it was very easy. I just cut out large pieces and chose where I wanted to cut around them. I'm actually adding some foam tape to the back of those to help sit them up off the page and just separate them a bit from that mixed media background and help bring them up closer to the viewer's eye. In the end, you can see I just had to cut a little chunk out of those flowers because I'd already backed the photo with cardboard, and they wouldn't quite tuck in underneath where I needed them to go. So I just cut a little bit out of it so that they would fit in underneath. So in the end with the clusters, I've got that cluster up in the right corner there. I'm also going to put some flowers down on the left side of the photo. And I think I end up putting, the small half flower that you can see on my desk there, I end up tucking under the edge of the photo as well. Now, I was fiddling around. I needed to add some frayed gauze to my page because you know how much I love adding that for a textural element. I had one piece on there. I looked at it and I thought initially that's not enough because I was working with some of my gauze scraps and I had to add a little bit more. But you would never know that it's not one piece because, of course, it's hidden behind the photo anyway. All right, going in, I'm now sticking down those flowers using the foam tape. Now, as I said, have you noticed that my process, I was just a little bit out of routine, a little bit out of whack, like I didn't have things on my desk where they usually are. Now, I'm very curious because I am such a creature of habit, and when I do my craft room tour, you're going to see this, but everything has a place on my desk, and I'm used to, when I create, being able to find the things exactly where I need them to be. So, of course, going and sitting at a different desk to film this layout and having things, a lot of the things were actually on the opposite side to me. So they were near my left hand, and I kept reaching with my right, and they weren't there because I did have space on the left of the desk and not on the right here. Are you a creature of habit like that as well? Do you keep your tools, your supplies, do they sit in the same place all the time on your desk because you have a routine? Or do you just scatter your crap everywhere and just, dig it out and find it as you go? I'm very curious to know who is as OCD about their desk as I am. Let me know in the comments below. Moving on. I digressed a lot there, didn't I? Okay, so you can see I tucked in that little half flower. I've gone to the title now. I've stuck the title on there. That came from one of those thickers packs. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, that was Color Study. The thickers pack there. I love that script. I love that scripted font. It's beautiful. Now I'm looking for a few embellishments. I didn't need too many because those flowers, pow, they really do catch your eye. Of course I needed a butterfly because you know how much I love butterflies. Now I needed something to build on those horizontal strips there. Those horizontal strips needed something, so I had to stick a phrase there. And I went with black again to help tie in the black that was running through so many of the elements on this page. So I've got that butterfly down the bottom. What am I looking for now? Oh, I stick on another phrase. Now, I generally tend to stick things on my photos when I scrap, and this was no exception. It took me a while to find exactly what I wanted to put there. I really wanted that sticker that said currently, and I was hoping it wasn't going to be yellow because then I was introducing another colour to this page. But I figured because there was yellow in the border paper and there was already so much colour going on, I thought, oh, why not just add one more in? So once I had added that currently sticker, I then had to use that yellow phrase because I needed the balance of colour. I couldn't just have the yellow sticker on the photo and not balance it off with the other one. Okay, this is me. Sorry, you're going to be seeing my head a little bit here because I had to lean over to see what I was doing. I'm actually adding just a little bit of doodling to the blue leaves in those fussy cut flower clusters. So I just added some little dots with my Sharpie paint pen, and I can tell you, it made all the difference. That little tiny element lifted those flowers significantly. Like it made all the difference. They look amazing. You'll see it better in the close-ups at the end, what I'm talking about, but that little touch of white paint just really made them pop. Again, I had to find something else small and yellow to put on there because I needed 3 things, so that's why that little budgie is Where's Wally style peeking out from behind those flowers. Had nothing to do with the page, but who cares? It's fun. The colour matched. It worked. Moving on. I was going to finish the page, and then I looked at those title alphas, or words, and I decided they needed a little bit of a lift too. So again, I went in with my Sharpie paint pen there, and I just traced over them and added the white. And again, it gave them such a lift. And I couldn't help myself but add some doodled crosses as well. And that was it. I didn't do anything else. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this process. As I said, it was a little bit of stop-start, but I got the job done and I'm pretty happy with how it came out in the end. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time. Bye.